Hello and welcome to Minecraft with TriX2. I'm going to be showing off my Railcraft signaling systems. I was asked to do this by Lensman Oz. A link to his video will be in the description. So what's happening right now, and it's, of course I say, and it's going to be a minute. This is the train that runs to my quarry, which is off that way. And it's very standard train locomotive. That's an admin anchor. It's a ethanol fuel tank, and then these are storage carts. Which you'll notice as it comes in, this actually shuts down because there's a couple of trains that actually go through this area, and that's connected to this block signal, which is I don't remember don't actually know where this is connected to. That's strange. But anyway, when it arrives here for unloading, which is what's happening right now, if we can get here, so you can see everything's unloading from the train. And it has tripped this signal, and these red particles are going back here to this signal. That's not a signal, it's a receiver box, which allows me, hang on. Oh, I know what happened. Forestry. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I'm going to lock that bag so that stops happening. I think it stops happening. And as it moves, this signal changes from red to yellow and causes this to flip on and off, activating and deactivating the boarding track. Over here, we have an oil tank, which is full of oil, as they expected. That is connected to these signals. Now these signals, sorry, I'm getting confused here. These signals will trip to red and cause this boarding track to turn off, which stop because I have two trains that will bring oil in. Or do I? Ah, no, I have one of my two oil trains shut down, and you're on the. I think this is the wrong track. I don't know why this is on the emergency track. It shouldn't be. But anyway, essentially these trains are all set up so that they can come into the railcraft, into this area, unload and refuel. Now this signal is connected back here because all the trains come into this system and then come around this loop. And this stops the train that's coming from here or here from coming up here and smacking whatever train is stopped here for refueling and adding water from hitting the being hit. Now this signal and the one down there at the end are used to connect this signal, and this is repeated somewhere, but no, it's not. This is unconnected. I've forgotten to connect it. But essentially, that signal stops this signal from sending a train along so that when this train is trying to leave the station, it doesn't get hit by one of the oil trains. This is my personal train's private siding. Blech. Words, I speak them. I have various routing motors here. This is the routing table, which is, destination private, which is where this train sits. So when I want to take this train somewhere and carry stuff in it, I just simply add private to the routing station. I simply add the destination that I want, and my train goes and takes me to it automatically. This signal, hang on, bit of lag here. Here we go. This signal and this signal are connected, and they use a signal block relay box, which allows me to make a corner here, so that if there's a train coming down this signal disables that boarding track and keeps them from getting jammed in here, which is a very complex corner. And there's 3 trains that will try and come through here. One of these is a sludge train carrying items that have to be unloaded. One of these is an oil refinery train, which may be shut down. I believe that's what's... No. Yeah, there's an oil refinery train which has to turn left here, then turn left here, then it goes down underneath that track, then it runs through here, round, down, and then extracts oil from the big tank overhead. Now, I'd be very careful not to get on the same track, otherwise, well, I will go splat. Now, let's see. Now, this section is because the quarry train does not go off that way, and instead comes on this particular track, comes out this track, turns, and then goes back that way towards the quarry. Any other train... That looked very weird. There's only supposed to be one cart there. Hang on. I don't know how that happened. That's better, because as you can see, with only one cart there... Okay, fortunately it seems to have... Alright. Okay. Anyway, other trains, which... Okay, I'm getting graphical glitches here. Now, other trains that have to go out come and are routed this way, along this track, and then to this boarding track. Now, this button is here because some trains are too long to... They'll actually get into this block here. And they aren't supposed to, but when they do, it causes them to stop here. So if you're trying to drive on a regular train through here, and say the quarry train has come and is over here, this will cause this block to lock up. Now, if there had been a reason for it. It's connected to another block over here. This one. And sometimes the trains will not behave themselves and lock up, and so what you have to do is come over here and push the button, and it sends one train along and sends another. Now this track... Where are you? Oh, I know why you're there. Now, this block is because this train, which carries ingots and other materials from this monster mess, including anything smelted by the steam oven here, from the which is all stuff from the quarry. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little more than strictly necessary. That's why we don't... Thought I closed that up. Never mind. Anyway, that's why we don't play on the tracks. Just a moment here while I run back and get my stuff. This whole structure... Oh, right. One moment. Break. When you're setting up verticals for a train, you have to ensure that it has a 2-block gap above it, otherwise it will come to a stop. Let me put this back on. Okay. These are Trackman goggles, and they are set up so that I can see the auras from the signals. That's these red particle effects. So essentially what you're supposed to do is run up and over the train so you do not get killed. It doesn't always work because I don't always pay attention. Now this is there's no way to say it. This is a screwball of a junction. Just in the headset there. Okay, so this signal detects a train here or here, which is either the quarry train if something has gone horribly wrong, or the refinery train, or one of the two trains bringing oil in. And you can see as that train crosses that thing, that signal block that runs from there to there, this system shuts off. Now this, I'm going to go ahead and admit it, it's a higgledy-piggledy mess of signal blocks and Project Red and MFR, just because why use one mod when you can use a lot more than one mod, is set up so that, and the idea, well, let me rephrase that. The idea is that because if a train comes into this block and a train is coming into this block, these two blocks will jam each other. And so you'll end up with either two trains that have hit one another or trains that cannot progress. So this serves two purposes. First of all, it overrides the setup so that that train and whatever train has come in can pass each other, but that the oil train, the two oil trains, there's two oil trains, and the refinery train will be separated, and these are set up with state cells set to this state cell is set to function as a timer, so it will run for 20 seconds and output a constant redstone signal that way. Then it pulses, which causes this one to run for 4 seconds, which causes a redstone signal. Sorry, that runs for 20 seconds. It outputs for 20 seconds that way, but there's nothing connected to it. Then at the end, it sends one pulse to this, which runs for 4 seconds and powers both this track and this track. Or rather, it powers the NOT gate, which turns this track off and stops the... This is a holding track, which means it can send it either way, depending on which way it came in. And it sets it up so that this can go that way and let that train go on its way while this train is stopped. Now, this is mildly confusing because this block is designed to stop that train before it gets there. But if this is running and this train is moving forward, that train needs to be held on the holding track, which makes sense, so that this train can go through. Now, this is set up so that there's ability for two trains to be through here. What happens is when a train first enters this block, it sets off this pulse former, which is necessary, otherwise this breaks badly, and repeats the signal with the signal controller box to this signal receiver. Then once this has gone through, it... What was this set for? This is set to blink yellow, so that when a train is moving, I believe it's away from the block signal, it blinks yellow, which means that this will trigger once that train starts to move, which resets the system, so that this waits for another 5 seconds and then launches after 4. This may need to be longer. The hope is that it will leave a gap between these two trains. Why do I have gravel in my inventory? I have no idea. Here, go away. Now this heads off to an oil well off in the distance there. Well off in the distance there, pardon the pun. These are reinforced tracks. They're a little bit faster than conventional tracks, and I use them on upslopes to make the trains move upward a little quicker. If we go along here, you can see, and it does make a bit of a difference. But I've been okay, something's jammed. Hang on. So you're jammed, and you're jammed, and you're jammed. because this system is broken. Okay. And you have no water. Okay, I do have a portable tank and buckets. This happens sometimes. And where's my wrench? So I just basically carry water in buckets with me wherever I go to prevent these things from happening. Oh, no. Ah, right. Forgot to sneak and break. Why have you not gone forward? No. And as you can see, this did not work out the way it's supposed to. This is the sludge train. He's supposed to have gone back there. You are also out of water. As you can see, trains are sometimes a pain in the neck. Now, what should happen is that this... Yes, there we go. So this goes down, and there's actually a sludge boiler down. I'm not going to go down here because I get poisoned. But there's a sludge boiler under there, and that will go and unload whatever sludge it has. And pick up any items that the sludge boiler has boiled away. So it provides clay and... Come on, there we go. Okay, so... Now this is the refinery train, and this heads somewhere well down this way. Hang on. This video's turning out to be a little bit longer than anticipated. This is actually a midpoint rehydrating station. So there's a reservoir and two fluid loaders. Liquid loader. Okay, they're still called liquid loaders here for some reason. But basically, any train that comes through here stops for a minute, gets a full load of water, and then gets sent along the pathway. And these are holding tracks, although I probably should have used boarding tracks instead. Ooh, excuse me. You're gonna want to... Yeah, I just blew your mind. Sorry. But now this train will head off to the oil refinery, which is... Oops. Do not get hit by the train. But yes, it heads off this way. It's situated out in a desert to keep from being a problem. This whole thing was predicated on the... Ooh, berries. Sorry. Was predicated on using trains for everything. Now, Sludge Bucket goes all the way out to the end of the tracks and turns around. It's a loop at the end of the track. Now, this system of six signals are set up so that this train, coming from the refinery, the Sludge Bucket trains, and the oil trains, which I still haven't seen. They vanish sometimes, and I have to go and find them. But basically, what this does is it causes this train to be locked in place if something is coming along this pathway. If something's coming along this pathway... No. this will lock in whatever train's coming this way. When this train comes back, and this should also lock that train. See, you can see where this is turned off because that train was passing by, and that's one of the oil trains. So we're going to go follow him because he's been often sitting where while waiting for his oil to for the tank cart to fill. Oop. We see that he stopped there for a minute and was given more water. Now, because this entire system is set up so that it does not cross the tracks, this signal system is necessary, because if there's a train coming and the sludge train tries to come up out of here, and you'll see that there are two detector advanced here, and they're both set to detect the chest cart at the end of the sludge train, and then they use this box, the signal controller box, and they have to be sitting on a full block, otherwise they just break. So if I were silly enough to pop the block underneath, the grass block underneath of here, it would break this box and I'd have to reset it. But it stops. Actually, it goes to this boarding track and the signal receiver under here, and this signal controller box, and you see the particles heading off this way, goes to this one, so that these signals will chain together and keep the trains. And these are further chained together in ways I don't remember. It's been a bit since I set this up, but it's set up so that to keep multiple trains from smashing into one another. And our oil train should be coming back any time now. Hopefully we can catch it in time to see this system set up. And hopefully not see me die again, which would be funny. Alright, so it's attempting to unload. And I don't remember if this should be set up. Oops. I hate dying because then everything's all set. Ah, okay. So it's got enough room to empty this cart out without. You're actually safe being hit by carts, but if you happen to be standing in front of the locomotive, you'll get instantly killed. You can wear Trackman's. Hang on. It's here somewhere. Ah, the engineer's overalls, which are just light blue wool in a pants shape, and that protects you from being horribly murdered by your trains. Technically, I think the modular power suits, if you have full energy shielding, that will also protect you, but I never do. It's more expensive than it's worth. But now this goes off, and you can see it goes through here. And if we're lucky... No. Oh. Problem. Oh, nope. It's supposed to be doing that. Right, so... See, this just flipped. And in a second, this will... See, it pulses and runs that. And this runs up to the next one, which has been set. And then away it goes. And the whole thing here is set up to keep it from... Keep the trains from colliding. As you saw by the traffic jam earlier, doesn't really work so well, and I'm not sure how to fix it. But that's been my signaling spotlight. Now you can see here... Why did that not... Oh, you're overridden, aren't you? Yep, you're overridden. Yeah, sometimes the trains will get stuck and they have to be, and these signals have to be overridden. So that's why there's levers everywhere. So basically, if your train's stuck going this way and this train is actually over here outside the block, you can just flip that lever. It's supposed. Oh, that's not an override. That's a. In case you need to catch a train, you can run over here, flip this lever off. I nearly got hit. That would have been really, really bad. Ahem. Oh, but this is the quarry train, not the quarry train, the refinery train. And if we watch it here for a minute, it gets to this junction, and yeah, that signal over there is shut down. You can't quite see it, but it runs through here and down this, and then up there. You gotta make, and like I said, remember to make sure you leave a 2-block gap if you go under anything. Otherwise, they'll get stuck. That's everything I can think of, except this. This is my train shutdown station, and if I just grab this book real quick, shutdown/cargo. So I can grab my cargo train and add the routing table /shutdown here. It'll go into here. Now these are redneck cables, and they are, yeah, all the white cables are constantly powered. So this thing is all in. It's pushing, and this is a boarding track, and it grabs the train and pushes it over the locomotive track, which is set to shut down, and it turns off the locomotive. So everything's all shut down. It's got a little bit of water in it, but that's fine because this loops back around so that any train launched from here will go. Yeah, see, now he's coming in. I hope we're set up so that. Yeah, he should be fine. He should get through in time. Hang on, we gotta watch this. Yep, all right, he's clear, and because he's clear, this train can go through this horrible junction. I would really have made this a lot bigger if I'd known I was going to send this many trains through. But once that trips, we can go up here and see that now this is latched. So as long as that quarry train or the refinery train is in there, this quarry train can't come around the corner. So, and now that it's gone, that turns back on. But all this is set up so that any train that's in these shutdown latches, and why you're not set right? You need to be set to red, which is turn the locomotive off. So essentially, it drives over this and goes into its shutdown state, and then latches onto this boarding track. Now, if I were to go over here, what are we? We're the sewer train, which is this. See, these are all sewage. They're filtered for sewage buckets. And you go in here, which is my train control station. You could flip the sewer train lever, and it would power. Close the doors, and it would power this thing, which would activate the locomotive track and the boarding track, and push the locomotive and the train off onto this track. And then once it fired up, it would go and run out here, which incidentally is also connected to this block signal here that goes around this corner. So if there's some train on this signal, whatever train has just been launched does not immediately crash and explode, because that's bad if you hadn't guessed. You'll see that not all of these are the same length. What is this? This is oil, I think. Yeah, this is the oil train shutdown. And I ended up with 2 oil trains. So the second one, oil 2, is here in what was an emergency line in case I needed to shut down for exactly this situation. Excuse me, where I had multiple trains, or an additional train that was not built into the system. But you can see the refinery train and the cargo train have much longer shutdown lanes. So, I also have signs here in case I forget. But these lines are set up so that they're just long enough so that the last cart will be gently pushed off so that the locomotive will latch on to the shut off boarding tracks. I don't know why. Why didn't you get pushed? I have a solution for this. Hang on. Oops. Let me grab a lever. Yep, I have no idea. This is actually a little... Oops. Because it was not custom made for the train, it's actually a little too short. And yes, it does try and connect to the torch because the torch is technically a... Who knows? But you can just take it and... No. Ah, there we go. Cable only connection. There. So now it's not connected to the torch and doesn't look stupid. Alright, I think that's more than enough of my horrible, horrible train design. Anybody has any questions? Let me know. This has been Minecraft with Triax 2. Thank you and goodbye.